Associates. We're going to just kind of take you guys through your annual training here today, and we're doing. This is the last of. When did I start this? Monday morning out at Charlotte. So we're kind of going through the paces and went to a couple of your other off-sites. So today I'm really going to just talk to you quickly about a couple scenarios I had that really didn't work out all that well. We'll talk about your fire procedures, fire extinguishers, how to use that, when to use them, when not to use them, and then kind of your response. That's really what we're looking for this year. Is that working okay? Are we good?
Yeah, I'm doing a backup.
Okay. So we kind of just talk about, come on, come sit up here if you want. And then I'll show you a sheet slide technique, and that's really how to get somebody off, on the floor and out of here. But for the most part, you guys really aren't going to have to deal with that. Most of your patients here are ambulatory, right? I mean, you know, so you can get them up and get out of here. And that's, and if looking at your procedures, that's pretty much what you're supposed to be doing anyway, is just getting yourself out of here. Should the alarm go off. So here comes somebody else. Wait 1 second.
Yeah, Brenda. And hello, Brenda.
Two other. Very good. Why don't you come on up and there's sign-up sheets here, and you can have a seat right here.
Oh, right up front.
Yeah, right up front. Why not? You know, somebody else is coming down. They'll join you too.
That's what happens when you're 2 minutes late.
All right, so here's something as we talk about things that didn't work well and have a response. So luckily, this did not happen in the United States, but this took place in India, actually. January, well, that's really fuzzy. That's a little better. So, dialysis center. The guy up here is, no, wait, I know it's kind of hard for probably to see here without a screen, is packing up, just finished his dialysis treatment. Guy laying here, still having his treatment. They had a beef the week before dialysis. So this guy comes walking over, he's standing right here now. He came walking over, and what he dumped was a big bottle of alcohol on the guy. The guy then jumps up, who he poured it on. Now they're standing right here. He still gets to the, he's trying to get up and struggling. He gets his lighter out and lights. And he lit him on fire. So they went from this to that, to this to that in 8 seconds. You had a fuel source, you had a combustion, and boom, this thing goes. All caught in on videotape. The woman that's here with the blanket on her, she died. This guy died. And all these people over here that are there, there's 2 people there, all have smoke inhalation and burns. So this was just a pretty horrific scene. So how the heck do you manage something like this, right? I mean, it's very difficult. Your main objective is we need to do what? We need to rescue people, get them out of harm's way. So it's rescue them, shut the door behind you, and then mark your doors. So you guys have, if the fire is not in your unit, what are we doing? Closing doors. I mean, you guys are a little different here than a hospital. We're basically going to close doors and start working, getting your people out of here, right? Getting your patients out. And where do you guys all go to? Parking lot. So that's where you guys are heading to, is the parking lot. So we got to rescue. That's really what we're doing here. And then the big thing here for you guys is to mark your doors. So you guys have a door marking system here, right? There's tags right here. That's the extinguisher. You have 2 sets of tags. So this tag means what? It's your fire room. This tag means what? Here's how I need this on the doorway, like this. So we want this sitting this way. So if this is our fire room, they're looking at this, and this is what they're seeing, so they know this is the room. And why we use these, it's so important to use these tags, because I'll tell you what, you can get temperatures in a room 600, 700, 800 degrees, easy. You get this thing open and you open up a door that's 600, 700, 800 degrees and get hit in the face with that smoke, you're done. Your eyes instantly dry out and you're in excruciating pain. 9 out of 10 times what happens is this. You open up that door and get hit in the face with the smoke. It's just like when a car pulls out in front of you. You jump on the brakes and do what? And now it's just your body's natural reaction. So now you just suck in 800 degree heat, toxic smoke to boot. You know, I've been a medic for a lot of years, over 20 years. You're my worst nightmare trying to manage your airway, because what's going on with your airway? It's swelling right up, exactly. So if you don't get intubated, or you're going to end up getting cracked, I mean, that's how people die in these fires, and it was due to the heat and the smoke like that. So it's imperative that we put those door markings on. So as we do that, then we're going to start doing this, what? Getting people out of here. So we talk about your way you're going to manage this is to race, which is your code red is your code word for fire, right? We start closing doors, start getting people out. It's kind of easier here for you guys because truly you just get out of here. And you know, so that's really what we're doing here. As far as the fire alarm, many different ways to activate your fire alarm. The most common is right here, right? Pull stations. It's, you know, and where are these pull stations? We always know where they're going to be.
The exit doors?
Always near an exit door, exactly. It's the same. If you go out to dinner tonight, you go grocery shopping tonight, after when you get out of here, you're always going to find them near that exit door. So the other things that way you can activate them is this. You've got smoke detectors, heat detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. You got detectors in your HVAC units. So if smoke gets up in there, it depicts that, the alarm goes, and it actually shuts. There's a door up there, it's called a damper. It shuts down so it doesn't take smoke from here and dump it somewhere else. All those different ways. The other things you have are sprinklers. So if you look above our heads here, you have one here, you have one there. They're all the way down. This building is 100% sprinkled. You guys ever have a busted sprinkler pipe? Or a sprinkler go off in the building? That's a good thing. These sprinklers, here's how they work. Each one needs to get 155 degrees. As this goes off, it dumps out a pattern of water about an 8-foot diameter. As it does that, it activates your alarm, and only one will go, and every one needs to hit 155 degrees before it goes off. So if this one goes off because there's a fire here, that one won't go until that one hits 155, and the next one won't go. So it's not like it's James Bond movies, where one goes, they all go, and they don't work that way. Each one needs to hit 155 degrees, which is good, because I could only imagine the water that this building is old, the water that is in that pipe, it's like oil coming out. It's disgusting. It's mold, mildew, just gross black water pouring out at you at 20 gallons a minute. That's a lot of water. In a typical patient room going up, 2 of them go off because the rooms aren't that big and they can get hot quick. So you get 2 of those going, that's 40 gallons of water a minute coming out at you, of oil.
Why is that water, it's not regular tap water that's coming out of there?
Sits in those pipes, and every year they drain it, they test it, and then they fill it back up with water, and it sits there for a year. And they don't drain it all completely.
It comes from a reserve tank or something?
It's a separate pump coming right in from the line, from the road, where the water comes in. It's a separate line, it's a separate pump that's in there, and that operates that. It's not
Why
like
is
you're
that?
pumping water. That's the way they are, because they don't want them off the other. They want it on an own independent system. So that's the way they, every sprinkler system, that's how it is, on its own line. So, lots of different ways. How this works is what? Comes in, hits your panel. I'm assuming here, I'm not 100% sure, but it goes out to a central monitoring company, correct? And then from there, they would call the fire department. It would go in. So what it does is any of these things activate, hits that panel. From the panel, goes to a central monitoring company. They then it comes up with Winston Healthcare Center, and they literally hit a button and it dials right into your dispatch center. Hey, we got a fire, an alarm location, here's where it is, here's the address, so on and so forth. So, as we talked about those sprinklers, just remember that 20 gallons a minute, because when we talk about fire response times, it really it kind of comes into play. So the big thing about why we need that alarm done is, the other thing is, actually, and you guys aren't going to call 5,000. Who are you guys? What do you got? Who are you calling?
Me. The front desk. The front desk.
Yeah, right. So you're going, and then what are you going to do?
5,000 does work here. It's just
Oh, does it?
because of the close proximity. It's usually we know what the other person is
Okay.
doing. But
So
5,000
You
does.
would get right to her in reception?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So if you did that, you get this phone call. Hey, there's a fire going on here, and that's what we want to do, is make sure we do that, so you can do what? Overhead page it?
Overhead page. I do call 911.
Perfect, good. That's what we want you to do, is a backup call to 911 in case something happened to that alarm company. That alarm
Exactly.
didn't get in.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, I mean, and that we always write them in their procedures. You know, I always kind of go back to, my buddy ran Springfield Dispatch for years. Remember when they had that tornado back a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
They got almost 2,000 calls in the first 15, 20 minutes into that dispatch center. How the heck are you going to manage that? If your alarm comes in and you got 2,000 calls coming into Winston PD, I mean, you're never going to, you can get lost in the shuffle. But a 911 call, you're open and somebody's going to answer the phone for you. So totally agree with that's the way to go. So all this stuff does not happen really until we get that alarm going. You're not going to, you have internal response people coming to help you internally. You're not going to get the fire department. None of that happens till that alarm goes. And that's why it's just so important that we pull that alarm. This kind of puts in a perspective, I think, of the program and why we're here and what we're doing. Because there's no doubt that the only way lives are truly saved in healthcare is by you guys. And when you look at this, how long, if we had a fire right here in this room right now, how long do you think it would take before the fire department is standing here with a charged line, so I mean, water in a hose, ready to put water onto that fire?
15, 20
15?
minutes.
Probably every bit of it, right? So you think about this. They're gonna go, smoke detector goes off in that room, boom, the alarm goes off. Okay? You come down here, you see the door, you know, we'll talk about in a second how to open up these doors, but anyway. Reports a fire, goes into your central monitoring company, gets into dispatch, 3 to 4 minutes. They then type it in a call, hit the button, tones go off, dispatches the fire department, fire department jumps in the trucks, they get up here. They're pulling in front of your doorway here, probably 8, 9 minutes, right? Now, who meets them?
Well, we all would.
You guys would all be out there, right? So you're going to tell them what? The fire's over in the back here. Who's going to direct them to say, you're probably going to come up, you need them to probably come in this stairwell right here, right? Come up this stairwell, be right here near the fire. Probably what they're going to do. So now they got to come up that stairwell. I'm assuming in here is a steam tube pipe where they can tap into some water, and now they got to charge their line. Now they're ready to open that door up. We are probably well beyond that 10, 15, you're probably pushing 20 minutes. By the time they're literally here ready to open the door and put water on that. If you had a patient in there, are they going to survive that? No way. It's you guys making these rescues as quickly as you possibly can. And this is this building. You look at the hospital, you look at Charlotte where they may have to hike up 5 flights of stairs, tap into water, it can be even longer. So now it's 20 minutes they get here and they say, okay, good news here is they got the line charger ready to go. But the thing here is the sprinkler's been going off. Maybe 2 of them in there for 20 minutes. Now, where's the sprinkler shut off? Dun, dun, dun. Who in the building would know who that is? Is there maintenance here during the day? You know where they are?
Downstairs.
Okay. So now we got to direct the fire department. All right, come with me. We're going to go down the stairs. We're going to go, and it's not like you just turn off your faucet. It's like a big old wheel in there. You got to turn this thing to shut the sprinklers down. You could have this thing going for half an hour. If you had 2 of them going, that's almost 1,000 gallons of water. Where's 1,000 gallons of water going to be going? It's blowing out of here. What's down below us?
Boilers.
Oh, so now your boilers are getting a little wet. What if the fire was upstairs? Something to think about. It's not always in your procedures, but if you have a fire in this building and the fire is upstairs, you better be thinking, I'm going to be getting wet downstairs because that's what water is going to do. Follow the path of least resistance, and it typically starts coming out all your lights. That's the first place it comes out. So just be aware of that. Other part of race, which is really important, closing doors, closing windows. Can't stress that enough. Gotta close doors. That's how lives are saved. And you know, if this door is open and you got smoke blowing up and out of here, you're gonna, until you can get everybody out of here, people are at risk. So we always want to make sure we close the door. It contains that fire, keeps it all in there. This is an ER. We're talking like when I was just up at the ER at Charlotte, and with the construction going on, it's tough. There's stuff everywhere. You gotta make a path. I understand that between you guys and Charlotte, that it's an older building. Nowadays they build hallways that are huge. I don't know if you've been in UConn. It's the newest hospital. Good God, their hallway's got to be 16, 20 feet wide, and then there's alcoves for everything to go into. So it's literally, it looks like that. In a fire, we got to get it to look like that, because I'm pretty sure that your first 2 engines coming here would be 2 engines and a ladder company for an alarm coming in here, probably pretty close. That's 3 to 4 personnel on the trucks. Now you get all, plus cops showing up, plus everybody else, your response team. If you're like this trying to move patients out of here, is that going to be tough? Absolutely. Now I get the only time you're going to see it look like that is when the Joint Commission comes. Otherwise, it's never going to look like that, right? Ever. I totally get it. But the reality is that you just really got to try to make some room. I don't know how much you guys are going to hear this here. Yeah, you're not going to. So we had this hooked up to. So this video that I was showing here, I'll just talk about this real quick to you. So here's what this was: a nursing home in Tennessee at noontime in July, very hot. They end up having dumping all their patients outside in the parking lot. And the reason why that happened to them is that their building is designed, has the smoke doors, just like the hospital, right, where it keeps you can stay in and you can shift and go horizontal. So what happened to them was Police department came and opened, and when they got there, when the cops got there, they said to the nursing, hey, where's your fire? Where's your fire? And what do you think? They said, oh, 131. So what do you think the cop did? Walked down, opens up the door. As he opens up the door, boom, he gets hit in the face with smoke, and he runs. And he leaves that door open, and it blew smoke in the whole place. Everybody ended up outside. Don't just think because this is a nursing home that hospitals are immune to that. Exeter Hospital this past July dumped their ER and OR at 11 o'clock in the morning outside because they had an odor. People started getting sick. They had no idea what was going on, and they just dumped everybody outside. You know, you guys, this is your standard practice is to come outside. Everybody's ambulatory here. It's not a big deal. It's you can do that. You get ICU, NICUs, those kind of things. That's very difficult. More importantly, you know who the scariest population is if you get outside? Behavioral health. Bring them outside. What are they doing? See ya. They're going, right? That puts a hospital in a pretty big liability. So if we talk about E part of race and evacuation, this is if you have a hallway like this, if all of a sudden you come out of a room and your hallway's full of smoke, stay in the room. All these doors are smoke barrier doors. You look at this label right here, it will tell you that it's a fire rated door and it's a smoke rated door, and this is rated for 20 minutes, which means you can be in this room with fire out here and be perfectly safe for 20 minutes. Reality, you can have smoke forever out here and that door will keep you safe. Stay in there. So that's a good safe haven for you. Next place that's a good safe haven is this stairwell. This is a 2-hour rated, this is probably, I bet you 2 hours. Hour and a half. Hour and a half rated stairwell. So that means as long as these doors stay closed, you're perfectly safe in there. So it's another place to get to. To be honest, this is a great place to go. If you've got a tornado roaring down on top of you, get in here. All your stairwells, if you look at it, it's all block, right? When they build a new building, they build elevator shafts and stairwells out of concrete blocks, and there's steel in there. It's truly one of the safest places to be in a building is right here. If you can't get in the basement with a tornado, get in the stairwell. All right, here's why it's important that we talk about opening doors. So when we open up a door, if we had a fire going on in here and smoke detectors going on, do we want to just come and open this door up? How do you want to open the door? Feel it, back of your hand. Feel the door jam. Why I want you to feel both is this. You get fire banging on this back of this door, the door being wood is dense, so heat doesn't transfer that quick through it, but the metal will be hot because heat transfers very quickly through it. So here's what you do. Feel the door jam. If everything's cool, get down low, crack open the door, and literally try to get yourself in here and make your rescue. That is, and don't get the people out, and then out the door we go. Take your door tag, put your door tags on, put with your orange being out front, yellow behind it, and just get yourself out of here. Okay? Here's why this is important. When you open up a door, why you got to be down low. This fireman, these guys are right here, down low, and as they open this door, look at all that smoke coming out at them. You get another run here, all kinds of smoke coming out at them. Now watch this. This is the video of how quick, and watch how quick this happens. Boom. Comes flying out at them. If you open up a door and get that kind of smoke, what are we doing? Shutting the door. Get your tag on it and get out of here. All right? All right, let's review race. We're going to rescue anybody in immediate danger. We're going to search the room, get in there, make sure nobody's in there, shut the door. If your alarm's not going, pull your alarm. Really how, guys, this should work, if we had a fire in here and we have the smoke detectors going, you see some smoke, and the two of you come running down here, you can get in here, start searching, you can just walk over here and pull that alarm. If it's and most likely, here's the thing, when your smoke detector goes off, your alarm's going, so it's very quick. So let's just say you walked in here and saw a trash can fire, and the alarm's not going yet, back up and hit that. Or somebody, you start yelling your code red, you're running down the hall, hey, pull the alarm. That's how you want to get that, really quick to get that happen. Especially, you need to get help here quick, and it's the only way it's going to happen is get that alarm pulled. Then close doors, clear out your equipment and everything, and clear out your hallways. Pretty good with race. Makes sense. Response. What you're going to do. Where you're going to go. Okay. Let's talk fire. You've got here an extinguisher. This is what we call an ABC type extinguisher. To use this, it's pretty easy. The thing you got to remember to pull is this pin. In the heat of the moment, people forget to pull this pin. So take this pin. You kind of literally goes forward, snap it, and break this little tab off. Then once you do that and pull the pin out, you grab hold of the handle, aim at the base of your fire, and just squeeze this handle. Has anybody ever seen one of these go off? Big mess or little mess?
Goodness.
Big time. This blows dust out everywhere. It blows up powder, it sticks on everything. It's like a magnet, it sticks on everything, and it's just really all over the place. How long do you think this is going to last you?
15 seconds.
Yeah, you get about 15, 20 seconds out of it. You're not going to save the day with this thing, you're truly not. So, as we talk about that, what kind of fires do we want you guys to put out? Small and contained. Small and contained. Just doesn't want to. Let's try this one. Nope. All right, so they really don't.
Like everything in
Here's the deal with this. The only type of fires I want you to put out are small and contained fires. That's like a small trash can. That's it. The thing of this is this. You can get a fire, a trash can fire that is plastic, has a plastic liner in it. You're in a small room like this. It just fills up that room so quickly with smoke. Certainly if you're in a patient room, get the patient out of the room, get your alarm going, and then try to extinguish this fire. So, what do you have right in that room to put that fire out with, beyond an extinguisher? Blanket, pillows, any of those things will work, absolutely. But make sure the alarm's going to the patient's out. And the reason being is that you're going to have this trash can fire that's going to be putting out a nasty smoke in a small environment. And then, as you guys that have seen these extinguishers go off, you blast that thing off, it's now you've got all this product and everything flowing all over the place. You're going to have a hard time breathing in there. So you got to get out of there. Shut that door, and I really want you to spend more time and concentration on getting patients out of harm's way and shutting doors and trying to get in there and fight a fire. I really do. This extinguisher is what we call a dry chemical. They have this, this is what's all throughout your building. You may have a couple of these. You see these more in dietary is where they have them there. The carbon dioxide ones is where we'll see more in your ORs and IT rooms, because this puts out a clean gas, doesn't make a big mess. This does make a big mess, but you can use it on just about everything. And this one is really used just for fighting grease fires here. How many of you guys have an extinguisher at home? Here's the deal. You can't use this one at home on your oven and your grease fires and in your stovetop fires. Because it's not a commercial grade, it's not as hot. So that one, a lot of times, you use this one in a restaurant or in your dietary department, at the hospital, is that it can sometimes reignite. So that's why they use the can, this one over here. You can definitely use that. A little advice is that if you have a fire at home, grease top fire, probably the best device to use for that, to be quite honest with you, is taking the cover to the pan and laying it right down and push the flame to the back. Take a cookie sheet if you don't have the cover right there. Cookie sheet, lay it on, take your glove, towel, whatever you have, hold it there, good. The challenge with that is that the absolute worst thing you can do with that pan is what?
Water.
Pick it up, throw it in the sink. You get it in, it hits water, it's like a bomb that goes off. Probably the worst call I've ever done in a restaurant was a guy in a Chinese restaurant. They use those big woks? Well, he had this thing that flamed up on him, he turns it off. Now what happens is the oil that's still in the wok rolls down, it hits the pilot light, reignites. He panics, picks this thing up and goes, boom, and throws it in the sink behind him. This guy had second-degree burns in his ears, his eyes, his mouth, all the way down. The restaurant was right across the street from this pretty big parking lot. I had Lifestar coming laying right there, and we flew him to Bridgeport. He was a mess. Best thing, lay a cover on it, it puts it right out. Today in Charlotte, I'll be meeting with the dietary department. We actually go through that, and everybody gets to play around a little bit and puts it out, and we do that because it's that important. That's really what they're doing, and you'd be surprised how many times those guys will have a flare-up like that. So that's different extinguishers. Again, just to let you pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Easy way of doing it. O2 is another thing here that people end up thinking that it's going to blow. It doesn't. We've got 3 liters of oxygen going through this nasal cannula here, and they light the thing on fire. And what happens is the cannula becomes like a torch at the end. It does not blow. What happens is people think, so it's going to just be a torch blowing out right here. It does not run back, get to the tank, and blow up the tank, or into your wall and blow it up. And the reason why we always got that, we're asked this question like all the time. And then last year, it wasn't granted, it was a nursing home, but they went and they had a concentrator in a room with like 3 liters of oxygen going through. And they had a fire, door closed, door tagged, everybody out of there. Staff said, oh my God, there's oxygen on, and they ran in. They opened up the door, all these people, they had a handful of people that had smoke inhalation, smoke filled up the whole corridor, all because of oxygen going on at 3 liters. Who cares? All it's going to do is that. That's it. And you've got oxygen shutoffs out here anyway, so if you got to shut them off, you can shut them off in the hallway. All right. A sheet slide, this is really getting somebody out of bed here. Whoops. Hang on. Let's try this one more time. This is a one-person technique. This is getting somebody on the ground and off the bed and out of here. For the most part, you're really not going to have to do this because, like we said, most of your patients are ambulatory here, right? But the reason why we show this is it's a quick, down and dirty way of getting somebody out of bed and dragging them out of there. But I guess if you had somebody a little sedated or something, and I don't know. This is the two-person method, much better. And what they're doing is the key to doing this is the person up here at the head. They slide to the edge of the bed. Rich puts his knee right at about her hip level. But watch how far Darren takes his legs and swings them. As they do that, she pivots right off his leg. Now, I know some of you are looking at it and going, yeah, but we got some big patients here sometimes. You do. Reality is, the more they weigh, the easier it is to come off the bed. You get somebody that's 100 pounds, you're like dragging them off the bed. The technique for doing this truly works very well. Only time we're doing this, if they stay in that room, they're going to die. That is truly your criteria. I used to just say the fire room, but you guys remember that tornado that hit Joplin, Missouri back a few years ago and devastated that hospital? You saw pictures of it with every window blown out of it. They were using this technique. But again, the building was caving in around them. So they had to get people out. So that's why we show it to you. Certainly not done all that often. Other thing is fire suppression. Good news is you don't see this. You don't have patients smoking in bed anymore, right? Not like the old days where people would do that here. Where you have your people, they're hiding in bathrooms trying to smoke, thinking they can get away with it. Maybe not so much here because they're not here that long, but certainly in the hospital. This is typically what we see, and this is more people on fire at the, when they do this. You're seeing this more in nursing homes than hospital settings now because most of your hospitals have been smoke-free for so long. Again, they're typically in a bathroom, but believe it or not, we still see 4 or 5 people a year in a nursing home that burn and catch on fire. Typically, they are sitting in a wheelchair on fire, screaming hysterically with their head cocked back because there's a lapse on fire, and they're doing circles in their wheelchair. The technique how they did that is putting them out, is tucking. Tuck. That really puts that fire right out very, very quickly. All right. Last thing we're going to walk you guys through is talking about this, the dangers of smoke. And as we talk about this, this is a sprinklered room. This is a non-sprinklered room over here. So here's work, here's home. What I want to do is timestamp this every 30 seconds. And you tell me, are you comfortable going in this room? Now, smoke. All smoke behaves in the same fashion. Smoke goes up, hits the ceiling, banks across. When it hits the walls, it's going to drop down. I don't care if you're in a bathroom or you're in a huge warehouse. That's how smoke behaves. So as we cruise up to 30 seconds here, smoke detector's going off, alarm's going off. You're standing at the doorway here. Are you comfortable going in and rescuing a patient on that bed right now with the current conditions? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most of us are. We're going to come up to a minute here. You can start seeing a little of that smoke already, right, though? Up there on top. So now, as we come up to a minute, how are you now? Still all right going in?
Mm-hmm.
So now what's going to happen? In a minute here, you're going to see this pillow start to catch on fire and this black smoke popping off the top of it. Kind of take a visual snapshot of a minute 15 seconds of this, and then a minute 45 seconds, a mere 30 seconds later, how much of a difference in the condition that's in there. So here we are here, it's still pretty clear, but now you see this pillow starting to go with some of that black smoke popping out of there. So now you get all this smoke going on in here. How about now at a minute 30? Still comfortable going in here? Or now you're kind of saying, eh. If you are in that room, where are you? Down low, right? Yeah. So now here we are now look at all that smoke, right? This is all that's burning is right here. It's smoky, but is it that hot yet? No, because what hasn't gone off?
Sprinkler.
So now we hit 155 degrees here just about any second. Here's all this smoke up here. Boom, sprinkler goes off. What's it do? It pushes all that smoke and heat down. What can't you guys do anymore if you're in that room?
Breathe.
See nor breathe. Exactly. You got to turn around and beat feet and get out of there. So now we are in a room with no sprinkler. 2 minutes you can still, at the 2-minute mark, you can still see the light over there going on. You can see the bed. Just remember that at 2 minutes, because at 3 minutes, it's a huge difference. As you can see, if you're laying here, if you're in this room, you're on the floor sucking out every little bit of oxygen you can that's down there on that floor. And this is why people, adults too, hide under beds. If I'm on the floor laying here, and you'll see these books in a second dumping down on top of me, where the heck am I going? I don't want this stuff burning, landing on top of me. I'm going to get under a bed. So people do hide under beds. If you're in this fire right now at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, are you going to survive that fire? Here's the scary part. Do you even hear a siren yet? No. No. You don't. So, now we're going to go and we're going to get outside. So now the thing we're showing here is this, and we typically say this for more of the off-sites, of how important it is to close windows. All your windows are closed here, right? So you can't open up windows, you don't have to worry about that. A lot of the off-sites though, and even in the room where we're doing the training in Charlotte, those windows open and close. So you gotta be able to, you gotta shut windows, and here's why. As you're gonna see here in a second, in the next jump ahead, how much that window, how much all that goes, and all that smoke starts dumping up there. And it's just imperative that we go and we do that, we go and close those windows, because what's going to happen is all that smoke's going to dump back into your building. So you'll see here in a minute where this fire really gets cooking in here, right? So this window is going to blow out of there in a second. As that window blows out, more oxygen gets in, and that fire really gets going. So now, at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, you're probably hearing sirens, I'm thinking, right? Are they here yet? Maybe the cops. But I don't think you have fire. I don't think you have any fire apparatus in your parking lot yet. So this thing blows out. It really gets going, and now this is probably your first due engine. This is what they're seeing right there. All right. Now here's the amazing part of this. This is our room with the sprinkler. Look how intact that room is. What do we have for? What do we? The only thing that caught fire, guys, is right here. But that got hot enough to do what? Activate a sprinkler and get you to say in a minute 30 seconds, I don't really want to be in this room anymore. That little bit of a fire. This is what we call room and contents. No sprinkler, this is home, everything burned in here. There's nothing really left here. How the heck do you survive a fire like that at home? Only you need to have a very good smoke detection system in your house. So what do I mean? Your smoke detectors, they need to be tied in. So if one goes, they all go. Newer construction all has that. But if you went to Home Depot and you bought smoke detectors and you put one in the basement, one on the first floor, one on the second floor, maybe even one on your third floor. If the basement goes off, you are never going to hear that sleeping on your second or third floors where you're sleeping, right? So now that thing's going off and the smoke's now coming up to the first floor. You may hear it then, now it's coming up to the second floor. You got a big fire here and you're in trouble. You need to have that where it goes and it's very, very quick. So as soon as one goes, it's going. How many of you guys sleep with your doors closed? It's about right. 1 to 2 people. I don't care how big the group is. Most people don't. Why? Because most of us have kids, right? So you always got to have that ear open. I get it. I always had my door open too. And then when my son, I think when I finally started closing, it was the first year my son went to college and came home for the summer, and he's coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning waking me up, and I got sick of it. I started shutting the door all the time, and now truly I just leave it shut. It gives you a little more time. If your smoke detector goes off, you may not be waking up to a mouthful of smoke. So it truly can give you a little more time. Other thing, we talk about fires in homes. We talked about kitchen fires. Where's the other big area for fires in homes? In healthcare. So number one area for a fire in a healthcare setting.
Kitchen.
Is your kitchen. Number 2 area is where? Laundry. When is the last time with your dryers that you took your dryers and took that pipe from the back of the dryer and came out and cleaned it going out of your house? Let me see the numbers, because there's always one. Yeah, there's 2. Always.
It's required. We live in a condo, so we have to.
So you have to. Yeah, so you do it. That's good. Most people, you'd be surprised, there's a lot of people that don't. You really
It's amazing
need to do
how
that.
much stuff is in there just from 6 months.
It is. So I always ask this, and I had a guy a couple years ago, and I don't do a lot of this fire training, and he was telling me, he goes, listen, he goes, I had a dryer fire, he goes, I lost almost my whole house. He said it was horrific. And he goes, you know what, on damp days, I can still smell the smoke. But here's what he said. He goes, do it twice. When we change the clocks, I change the batteries in my smoke detectors, and I clean out that lid. I'm like, that's a good idea. So I started doing the same thing. I mean, I did it last weekend. Is I pulled, and really, I just pull that pipe out. It's very easy to pull out. I bring it outside. I hose it all out. I let it air dry for a couple hours, an hour, until I know it's good and dry. And then I pull out in the back of the dryer. I take my shop vac and I clean it in. My wife loves those little dryer sheets. I hate those things. They get stuck like everywhere. I bet you I pull 8 to 10 of them out every time I clean that thing. They get up stuck in there. Usually, you know what happens to them? It's why I hate those things so much. I was doing this presentation. I had for a national conference. I had about 1,000 people in the room. I'm talking emergency, man. I come walking out. You got it. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm staging all these people, and I'm like, well, you know, my pants were clean. I was like ready to kill my wife, but it wasn't her fault. But anyway, you really got to. It's really truly a way. Do this, guys. Clean those dryers out. You know, it's really a good thing to do it, just because those are big areas for fires. There's no doubt. All right, questions for me. That was the down and dirty version. Just it's really the biggest thing for you guys, and the things to really watch is what. I mean, have you had any close calls in the last year? Anything close? Any type of fire, smoke, anything? No reason to ever have to leave emergently?
Basically, last year.
In the other parts of the building, that's not us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens if there's a fire up there? What are you doing? You leaving too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So alarm goes off, everybody dies. That's good to hear. No, that's what I want to hear. I mean, so the alarm goes, you guys are getting out of here. I don't care where the fire is. Truly, get out of here, and just don't. You know, you just don't want to be. I mean, you need to, because the building's not totally geared up and set up like that, like the hospital is anymore. I'm sure it is, but they you know, their procedures are written that way just because things haven't been looked at and tested probably, and it just makes sense. You're ambulatory, so you can just get out of here. So that's why we do that. It's the safest thing. The biggest thing is a head count. You get like something major going down here, and it's people scattered all over, and you know, people are coming in here. It's chaotic. You really got to make sure we got everybody accounted for, and that's the biggest thing. It really will be. And then the other thing we got to do, sure, if we get something real here, we got to make sure we're calling the hospital, right? Who are you calling there?
The supervisor, I believe.
Yeah, they say
depends on the time of day.
Well, it depends on the time of day. You're absolutely right. Truthfully, if it's during the day, the way your procedures read is you call the administrator on call, but you can certainly I would certainly call the supervisor at night, evening, overnights, right? I mean, because they have that. They then can call the administrator on call and know who it is. All right. Yeah, just that notification is a big one. Just because you don't want them hearing on the news, breaking news across their TV screen that they're on fire up here and you got a problem, they're like, what? You'd be surprised how often that happens. So my buddy and I, he runs a nursing home up in Massachusetts, and we were going golfing. Going to pick him up, he calls me, my building's on fire, I just saw it on the news. I'm like, Tom, they didn't call you? No! What happened was, fire department goes, they have a toast in the toaster, gets an alarm activation. Things going. You guys burn toast here all the time too? Everybody does.
No.
That
or popcorn.
Not anymore.
So here's what happened. Toaster goes off, fire alarm goes. This kid was picking up his grandmother at like 7 o'clock. They were going to, he was taking her somewhere, I don't know. All of a sudden, staff did a great job. Listen, stay in your room till we figure out what's going on. So what does he do? Pulls out his phone. Goes, boom, starts videotaping the first engine coming in, the second engine coming in, all the firemen walking in. And then he goes to every news station has an app, send us your video. Boom. It sends it to Channel 30. Channel 30 immediately gets it. Hey, we understand you have a fire. What do they hear? Whoa, the alarm's going off. Yeah, we got something going on. I don't know. Click, hung up on them. It's confirmed they got a fire. Breaking news.
Oh, good.
That's how it happens, that quick. So, all right, guys, thank you very much. Everybody signed in?
Yep.
Okay, very good. If you didn't, it's right here. Actually, she's got it right there.
Please make sure you sign in, guys.
So everything good with you? That's a good trip.